During many years living in places like Ann Arbor or Oberlin in Ohio uh, led me to develop an interest in alternative lifestyles. I felt that the atmosphere there during my early 20s, during my 20s in general, being surrounded by people who purchased organic foods, who went to the farmer's market, who consumed less, in general, educated people also. That basically had an influence in me. I was accustomed to people being having an identity more based on their intellectual life, their thoughts, their philosophical or religious or psychological take on things, society, just more critical people in general. It is easy for people who are outside of these currents to simply refer to the granola crowd as this bunch of hippies, but in reality it may be that the hippie movement and the granola people are only the latest manifestation of the same kind of humanist progressive tendency that at different points in history were represented by the Renaissance or the Enlightenment. I truly believe that the Green Revolution, a return to earth, a return to simplicity, may amount to a cultural revision that we need in modern society at a global level. And it is almost as if the revolution that has been slowly cooking in the back burner is yet to really flourish as a world phenomenon, as a new renaissance for mankind, I think. So, living in these fairly enlightened places might have really been the reason behind my developing these kinds of interest. Then I was in Spain for many years in the 90s, and during my years in Spain I began to meet a lot of people who were doing permaculture, who were growing crops in farms outside of Madrid, in nearby provinces. I became very good friends, for example, with the Hare Krishna devotees at the temple right in downtown Madrid, and they had a farm outside of Madrid at the nearby province of Guadalajara, and it was wonderful to go there with them and stay at the ashram and help them move the soil around, till the soil, plant potatoes, plant flowers for the garlands, even make the garlands. I was just interested in all this Vedic culture, and I really felt very comfortable with them. And becoming so close to the Hare Krishna people, to their way of life, their lifestyle, their way of thinking and their way of experiencing reality, was to me a reminder that I was still seeking a way of life for myself, that I wasn't really happy with just the idea of becoming this affluent participant in Western society and get on and off the metro and walk around and buy things and drink coffee and drink Diet Coke and just not question this sort of machinery we're all stuck in. And all along, over here in Baja, just 30 minutes south of the US-Mexico border, south of San Diego, was this land waiting for me to return, with all these ideas gathered over a period of 20 years living abroad. And so I come here and I come here with a dream of, planting trees and see them filled with flowers, and it was just very utopian. The vision I came here with was very utopian. In my dreams I would only see the beautiful things, the flourishing trees, and it is very much like that. It really is very close to utopia, living in this quiet, feeling the moisture in the dirt during the rainy season, working the land. It is truly very contemplative. I don't think that any of my dreaming was far from what I have actually experienced living in the country and doing all these wonderful things. During my years in Madrid, I became familiar with the writings of Mollison and the ideas of permaculture, the ideas of Lawson, the ideas of Fukuoka, the Japanese permaculturalist, or father of permaculture almost. I mean, this idea of there being fathers of things, permaculture probably has been around forever. It's the result of observation of the interaction between the elements, water, sun, moisture, organic matter, just the observation of where there's a niche, where the earth becomes fertile, why it becomes fertile. This has been around forever, I think. I've read that in ancient Egypt, it was the overflow of the Nile that provided many times all this organic compost that came from far into Africa, and that would provide the Egyptians with the substances to make their land more fertile. And this is exactly what I'm experiencing here. The same things that they were experiencing on the shores of the Nile, I am experiencing in this insignificant brook in California. To me, with permaculture, there are no borders. There is no division of the world. There is, for the California oak, for the different kinds of shrubs that grow here, and they're unaware of our drawing lines, of our drawing political distinctions, cultural distinctions. For me, there is only one planet. I don't believe in separation. I don't believe that it will last. I don't believe it's a permanent human reality to have borders and to have separation and to have these very clearly delineated cultural differences. And I don't think it's in the best interest of society to continue to uphold those separations. I think we need to unify the world. I think we need to use technical capacity and wealth and power for the betterment of the whole planetary system. To me, the intelligence reflected by the natural world, by plants, by insects, and by the interaction between every living thing on Earth, it is really the greatest science. And in this regard, permascience, permaculture is attuned to an inextinguishable source of knowledge, which is nature. I think human lifestyle technology only stands to gain from returning to a contact with all the knowledge that is implicit in the natural world.